As the days turned into weeks, Mitchell and Emma fell into a rhythm, slowly building a life together. The initial awkwardness began to fade, replaced by a growing comfort and understanding. They found themselves sharing meals, watching movies, and having long conversations that stretched late into the night. One evening, as they sat in the living room, Emma brought up a subject that had been weighing on her mind. "I've been thinking about Diane," she said quietly, her eyes fixed on the floor. "I know what she did was terrible, but she was still a part of my life for so long. I don't know how to feel about her anymore." Mitchell felt a familiar ache in his chest at the mention of Diane's name. He had been struggling with his own feelings about his ex-wife, torn between anger at her betrayal and the memories of the life they had shared. "It's complicated," he admitted, his voice soft. "What she did was unforgivable, but I understand why you're conflicted. She was a mother to you, even if it was under false pretenses." Emma nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I keep thinking about all the times she comforted me, all the advice she gave me. Was any of it real? Or was it all just part of her lie?" Mitchell moved to sit beside Emma on the couch, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "I don't think it was all a lie," he said carefully. "Diane, she made a terrible choice, but I believe she did care for you in her own way. That doesn't excuse what she did, but it might help explain some of the good memories you have." They sat in silence for a moment, both lost in thought. Finally, Emma spoke again, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do you think we'll ever see her again?" Mitchell sighed, running a hand through his hair. "I don't know," he admitted. "Right now, I think it's best if we focus on healing ourselves. But someday, if you want to, we can talk about reaching out to her. It's your decision, Emma. I'll support you either way." Emma leaned into Mitchell's side, seeking comfort in his presence. "Thank you," she murmured, "for understanding, for being here, for everything." Mitchell wrapped an arm around her shoulders, pulling her close. "Always," he promised. "We're in this together now." As the weeks passed, Mitchell and Emma continued to navigate their new relationship. There were good days and bad days, moments of laughter and moments of tears. But through it all, they clung to the bond that was growing between them. One Saturday morning, Mitchell woke early to find Emma already in the kitchen, surrounded by a mess of flour and baking supplies. "What's all this?" he asked, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Emma looked up, a sheepish smile on her face. "I'm trying to make pancakes," she admitted. "My foster mom used to make them every Saturday morning. I thought, maybe we could start our own tradition." Mitchell felt a warmth spread through his chest at her words. "I'd love that," he said softly. "Here, let me help. I'm not much of a cook, but I can flip a mean pancake." Together, they worked in the kitchen, laughing as they made a mess and burning the first few attempts. But eventually, they managed to produce a stack of golden brown pancakes. As they sat down to eat, Mitchell couldn't help but marvel at how far they had come. "You know," he said between bites, "your grandmother used to make pancakes for me when I was a kid. She had this secret ingredient that made them extra fluffy." Emma's eyes lit up with interest. "Really? What was it?" Mitchell grinned. "Buttermilk. And a pinch of cinnamon. Maybe next time we can try her recipe." Emma nodded eagerly. "I'd like that. Maybe you could tell me more about her, about our family." And so, over pancakes and coffee, Mitchell began to share stories of his childhood, of Emma's grandparents and the family she had never known. Emma listened intently, soaking up every detail, every anecdote that helped fill in the gaps of her own history. As the days turned into months, Mitchell and Emma's relationship continued to grow and evolve. They celebrated small victories together, Emma's first day back at work, Mitchell's successful surgery on a difficult case. They also weathered the tough times, the nights when Emma woke from nightmares about her past, the days when Mitchell struggled with guilt over the years they had lost. One evening, as they walked through the park near their home, Emma turned to Mitchell with a serious expression. "I've been thinking," she said, her voice hesitant. "I want to change my name. Legally, I mean." To Emma. Mitchell stopped walking, turning to face her. "Are you sure?" he asked gently. "You don't have to do that if you're not ready." Emma nodded, her eyes determined. "I'm sure. Grace. That was a name given to me by people who didn't know the truth. Emma is who I really am. It's the name you gave me, the name that connects me to my real family." Mitchell felt tears prick at the corners of his eyes. He pulled Emma into a tight hug, his heart swelling with love and pride. "Emma," he whispered. "My Emma." The process of legally changing Emma's name was long and complicated, involving countless forms and visits to government offices. But Mitchell was there every step of the way, supporting Emma as she reclaimed her true identity. The day the official documents arrived in the mail, Emma held the envelope in shaking hands. "Will you open it with me?" she asked Mitchell, her voice soft. Together, they unfolded the paper, their eyes scanning the official text until they landed on the words they had been waiting for. Name changed to Emma Lawson. Emma traced her fingers over the name, tears spilling down her cheeks. "It's real," she whispered. "It's finally real." Mitchell wrapped an arm around her shoulders, his own eyes misty. "Welcome home, Emma," he said softly. "Welcome home." As the one-year anniversary of their reunion approached, Mitchell and Emma decided to plan a small celebration. They invited a few close friends and colleagues who had supported them throughout their journey.